Continuing in Lesson 8, we're actually going to start a whole new concept in HTML, and I need you to create a brand new page for this. So if you click the plus sign here and start with a brand new page, and we'll just start by typing all the tags you know, HTML, and put in your closing tag, and then put in your header, and then put in the title and the closing title tag, and put in that slash there. And this one's going to be your name's first table page. So Mr. Fuge's first table web page, which is a very, very useful HTML tool to use. So let's put in the body tags, and then the closing body tag. And we've typed enough that would be painful if we lost it, so let's save again. And again, on our desktop, we're going to call it our name, and then put a T at the end, a capital T at the end, to indicate this is a table page. And I'll put .htm. Now, if you're wondering why I'm keeping these names all the same, it's just so that they stay together if I ever see them in a list. It just makes it so much easier to find. That's why I'm only changing the character before the period. Okay, click save, and now again they change all to blue. And then just put in a main title and put it your first web page. So put your name in, first table web page. Okay, and you're going to want to skip a line, so let's just throw in the paragraph tag now. And this way, if you did want to center it or anything, you could change the alignment easily with the paragraph tag there. Okay, now let's begin. Now, just like it is, since we're creating a table, the tag actually is table. And then the closing tag obviously is the slash table. Now, before we begin with the actual tags that create this table, I kind of want to switch to show you what the table concept is in HTML. So I'm going to switch over to Word here. And where's that Word document? There it is. And I've created a little 3x3 table to indicate to you what a table looks like, and how you should be describing it. Like if you went into Word and you're actually creating this table and you went into like this function here, it gives you an idea one by one. And when they're talking about the different size tables, you're actually talking about rows, which would be, oops, little error there, rows, which would be like this. That's row 1, that would be row 2, and this would be row 3. And then they'd also be talking about columns. These would be columns. Okay? Now, we don't talk so much about rows and columns in the creation of a table in HTML as we do about rows and then the number of data cells per row. So in this case, we have 3 data cells in this row. And then we have 3 rows, each with 3 data cells. If you remember that that's how you describe a table in HTML, it makes it a great deal easier. Okay? So just think about that. We're only talking about rows and then the number of data cells within a row. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a 3x3 HTML table. So in this one, indenting is important just so you can see everything. So we're going to create a table row first. Okay, so the table row tag is TR. And as soon as we type in the opening tag, we immediately type in the closing tag. And you notice after I indent, it actually retains the indentation, which is really nice. And then inside the table row, we want to put in data cells. So in this case, it's called TD for table data cell. And in this case, we put the closing tag beside it. Now right now, if you describe this table, this is a 1x1. 1 row with 1 data cell, which if you put a picture in it, it makes it a nice frame for a picture. Anyway, so instead of retyping the TD, I'm just going to highlight this by, and the best way to highlight is to actually click at the beginning of the line and drag straight down, highlights the whole line as well as the carriage return, which is really nice because if I copy this and then I paste 2 more times, it puts exactly what I want in. Now I have a row with 3 data cells in it. Okay? And what I really want is 3 rows, each with 3 data cells in it. So let's take a look. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I'd just like to copy this 3 times, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'll take the cursor at the very beginning of this line here where the TR begins, go straight down until I get all of it highlighted, and so this includes the carriage returns. Okay, now I do Command C to copy, and then Command V, Command V, Command V. Now I have my 3x3 table. Okay. Now to indicate which cell is which, I'm just going to put numbers inside here because obviously this is all tags. I'd see nothing right now. Okay, so I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and then I'm just going to save this again, and then let's take a look at it. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go File, Open File, since I've never opened it before, and go to the T file, and you're not going to get what you expect. I see the numbers, but I don't see a table. Now there's a reason for that. The table tag actually has a whole pile of attributes. One of them happens to be border. So in this case, if you want to see the table, we put in a space to add the attribute, and we put in the word border. And then we put equals, and in quotes, I'm just going to put a 1 right now, okay, and save. And then if I go back to here, and I click reload, there's my basic table. Now, I'd like to show you some modifications of the table just so you can make it look a little better than just that, because obviously the table fits perfectly to whatever's inside the cell, just like a word table might do. Okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to expand it. And this is a wonderful thing that you can do, especially from a design perspective. You can actually make the width adjustable. Okay? So the width will adjust to the size of the window if you put it in a percentage. So in this case, I'm going to put in 100%, which means no matter what the window size is, the actual width of the table will adjust to the size of the window. So if I actually did this, I'm going to grab this, and I moved it like this, you notice that it automatically adjusts the size, which is really cool. Now, if you look at this now, it's looking better. Now I can see a bit, but you notice how tight it is just around the edges of each of this text here. What you'd like to do is pad the cell with some space so that you could actually see it. And I use the word pad specifically because that's what they use as an attribute. If I put in a space here and I type in cell padding equals, and then I can put it in pixels. I'm going to put it in at, let's say, just so you can see it, 8. And click save. And click here. And then when I reload, you notice it puts in 8 pixels of space. And just makes it look a lot nicer. Okay? Now, if I go on, I can actually increase the spacing between the cells. And people look at this as a border, but it's not really the border. It's actually the space between the cells. Okay. I can also increase that size as well by putting in the attribute, another space, cell spacing equals, and in quotes, and I'll put it in at 5 because I don't want to make it too thick. Then go back to here, reload it, and you notice the thickness increases. Now at this point I want to show you what the actual border looks like. Right now the border, you can't really see it that well, but if you notice this edge is kind of darker than this edge. Okay. If I increase the border size to say, let's put it to 10 so it's really obvious. Okay. Click save. It's really ugly, but we're going to do this anyway. And you see that there's a lighter side and a darker side. And those actual colors can be adjusted as well. Okay. We're not going to do that right now, but I just want you to know that. I'm going to put it back to 1 just because, oh, it's so ugly at 10. And click save. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to be able to do is understand that you can also adjust color within this table. Okay? And the color that you can adjust is in the entire table, and again, like the body, we can put in another space, BG color equals, and then in quotes, I'm going to make it light blue. And I'll click save, and then I'll reload, and it turns all light blue. Okay. Now I can also change a row an entire row, and it overrides any background color that's put in the table. So if I put a space here and I put BG color here equals, and let's say I put in, let's say Dodger blue, okay, which is a slightly different shade of blue. Go in here, reload, and then I get a totally different blue there. And then say I decide I want to change the color of an individual cell, I can do that as well. Say I go into here, and I put in a space, and then I put in BG color, and again, this one, the one in the TD, overrides the TR and the table border background color change. So let's put in, I don't know, navy, since we're getting darker. Okay. And then I reload, and I've got that. So you notice that the different color changes can be affected, and then the table one is lowest priority, whereas the TD is the highest priority in terms of the color change. They override the others. Now, if you're wondering if you can actually put in something else, like a background image, you can. So let's do that here, just so you can see it. Instead of BG color, I'm going to put in background equals, and in quotes, I'm going to put in stone.jpg. That really cool background I had, and you're going to see what this looks like. So if I reload that, I get stones. Again, totally distracting from the actual table, so not the best thing to do. And I could change it to the gold one, and you could see what that one looks like. And then I save that. I reload this. Yes, now you can still see the table, but you got a neat textured background. Okay, so that's it for basic tables. In the next lesson, we'll be going on to more complex functions within the tables.